Hi guys, this is Ben from Island Computers. Just thought I'd do a quick video to chat about a few things, give people some prices of some computers that are out at the moment if they're looking to get one. Just a few updates, I guess, with certain things. So probably the first thing I need to mention is that Microsoft has stopped support for Windows 8, Windows 8.1. 8 basically. That ended in April, so literally just gone. They also stopped support for Microsoft Office 2013, so that's no longer supported. So if anyone's using Windows 8 or Windows 7 before it, then you definitely need to upgrade your computer. If your machine is 6 or more years old, then it probably won't run Windows 11 or maybe even Windows 10, but I'd have to have a look at it to double check whether the generation of the CPU is probably okay. Around the 5th generation's not too bad. It might be able to do it, but some people's machines just I've upgraded them and they're just not happy. They just don't work at all, so just bear that in mind. Microsoft Office, obviously if you're using 2013, there is another version after that, so the 2019, that's still supported for plenty of years. But to be honest, I usually suggest people use Microsoft 365, which is a yearly subscription of $99 for the personal version, and the family version, which allows you to have 6 different logins on it, is $139. So if you do it that way, have a family one, or if you get roped into buying the family one when you're trying to purchase it by Microsoft, which is a cheeky tactic they do every single time, so you have to be careful of that. If you do end up having it, then you can obviously offer that subscription to family members. That's actually fine. Microsoft are okay with that. Or if you've got a small business, then you can invite other email addresses, other people's accounts. It has to be a Microsoft account, so they have to register if they don't have one. But you can then add them to your family group as well, so they can share the same apps, and they also get 1 terabytes worth of storage with OneDrive. So there's a good benefit there, and maybe just ask them for $20, $20 for the privilege to be on your account at the end of the year. Or if you've got a family member like a child that's gone to university, then obviously they can just use that license while they're away, so that's quite handy. They don't have to spend that cost on Microsoft Office every year. So other things I should probably mention, my subscription cost for Avast Business Pro Plus has gone up slightly. I kept it at $70 for quite a number of years, and I wasn't making any money off it, and I'm not now either because of the Putin's war in Ukraine and inflation generally. It's just gone up to 80, so that's just the rising costs, unfortunately. But it still gives you everything that Avast offers, including their VPN, which is usually, I think it's $109 a year on its own, and VPNs are becoming more important so that you can become a shadow on the internet and not get tracked quite so easily by other people. But you know, if you've got your system set up properly and you're not using something garbage like Chrome, then you should be much better off. I recommend Firefox with AdBlock Plus on there as a as uBlock Origin on there as a ad blocker. I don't actually rate AdBlock Plus anymore because they have an acceptable ads program. It kind of evades the point of being an ad blocker if you actually allow ads, doesn't it? So uBlock Origin is what I use now, but I don't recommend on Chrome anyway, because even though Chrome are doing all these ads about built-in ad blocker and antivirus and stuff, they still manipulate the search results with malware and other companies who pay them huge amounts of money, so it's in their best interests to keep those things on their search engine or ads that pop up. Seriously, Google, what are you doing? You're actually getting people infected with your lack of ethics, in a way, your misconduct, pushing people to use Chrome. It's good, use it because it's safe. No, it isn't. Not nearly as safe as Firefox. That just shows you the difference between two companies, one that's trying to push their own sort of monetary scheme and a company that's basically out to help the users, to help people. Firefox, Mozilla behind it. So yeah, Avast is $80 for 2 years, so it's not for 1 year. So your equivalent price for Avast on its own is about $100 a year. just for the normal license. But if you need more than one or two licenses, generally it's better to go for the Avast Premium product or Bitdefender if you want to pay a bit more, and then you get 3 to 5 or 10 licenses for the different versions. So that works better if you've got a bigger household or if you've got more devices you want to cover. The $80 that I charge for the business version is just for one device, so it doesn't even cover your phone. But if you need more licenses, then obviously I can add those to your account as well. If people need an upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11, I can do that. It's not a problem. If you're having issues with trying to upgrade because it says your CPU is not supported, I can get around that too. Sometimes that's not, as I said before, with the age of a computer, it's maybe not a good idea. It depends on the CPU, depends if it's actually going to be all right. The biggest issue that people have had is with this stupid TPM chip, so this security chip, and whether their computer actually has one. I had a lot of difficulty with this too when Windows 11 came out, but I've managed to get around it. But I did buy some TPM chips to go onto a motherboard on a desktop, but I don't feel confident with using them because one of them came from Hong Kong and one came from Singapore. So who's to say what's actually on the chip? So if I plug it in, a security chip, what if it's basically been set up by the Chinese government? And as soon as I plug it in, that's it. They've got an instant connection to my machine. So I'm not going to use those. That's too much of a risk. So just bear that in mind, that if you're upgrading to Windows 11, you do need to have TPM2 for it to work. Again, you can get around it. But I don't know, if your machine's that old, maybe you should be looking at getting a new one. And that will need to be, less than 4 years old to have the TPM chip on it. So speaking of computers, if anyone's looking for a new computer, obviously the end of financial year sales are coming up, but there are plenty of deals on all the time. And some of the computers that I've been setting up recently are just absolutely fantastic. If you're looking to replace an old desktop, I would definitely recommend getting an all-in-one desktop, which is basically, think of it like a glorified laptop with a bigger screen. So a lot of them these days are 27 inch. They were 24 for a while, but now they've gone up to 27. And the build quality is brilliant from companies like HP, Lenovo and Acer. Some of the other ones are all right, but they're not nearly as good as these ones. So I definitely recommend those companies. As I've always said, don't touch Dell. Do not buy Dell products. Their reputation speaks for themselves. Their terrible reputation. Their Alienware line is utterly appalling, as well as Dell line itself. Don't get Dell. Just please take my word for it. Avoid them like the plague. Even the XPS. Don't get their XPS brand. It's just not good. Okay, so I'll just open up, put the other screen on and give you some idea of a few computers that I would recommend to buy right now if you needed one. So an all-in-one desktop. This is from Harvey Norman. You can see the price. It's $1039. It's got $260 off. That is a cracking deal. I've set up, 28 of these, I think. Yep, 28, because I did another one recently, and they're brilliant. I thought they'd sent me a monitor to begin with because it's so light and so compact that it was surprising to discover that it's not a monitor, it's actually a full machine. It's a lovely screen. It's got good speakers in it. If you need something better, look at the width of that. Look at the depth. It's nothing. It's unreal. It's wireless keyboard and mouse as well, so it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. For that price, you're getting a 27-inch monitor, which is 68.5 centimeters, and it's an all-round fantastic package. My only issue with this is the fact that it has an Intel i3 processor. So this here, that's technically the budget processor, but for everyday needs, if people needed to just surf the internet, do emails and a few other bits and bobs, just general business stuff, that this would be fine. 8 gig of RAM, 512 gigs of storage. That's plenty for most people. Laptop wise, I did have a bit of a scour before, and I ended up choosing this. Let's get rid of my tabs. This is another cracking deal. $300 off, $998. Now it is a little bit of an older machine. It's got a 3000 series and we're on the 5000 series Ryzen processors, but I can assure you this one is a fantastic processor. They really did hit the mark with the 3500s. I'm still running one in my machine. I haven't upgraded it yet because it's still doing a damn good job. Touch wood. But this one has 16 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD in it. That's amazing at that price. Absolutely amazing. And again, I've set up loads of these, the 512 versions, but I can, yeah, I can vouch for this. It's great. Really nice build quality. The screen is really nice as well. It's got good charge on it. Yeah, it's great. Really good. You could not go wrong with that. If you do find something that's under $1,000, just be careful because sometimes they compromise on it, and it's not necessarily as good as it should be. For example, if I go back to laptops, so it's actually notebooks, but call it a laptop if you want, Harvey Norman. So this was one I spotted before. $498 with $300 off, and it has an R3, so the budget model, but still very good. R3 processor, 8 gigs of RAM and a 256 gigs of storage. So if you were looking for something that you sub 1000 and you honestly didn't want to spend $1,000, this one is brilliant. 256 storage might get a little bit tight over time for storage, but brilliant, really good. Nice low bezel. Some of the other Lenovo's had this massive chin, so this one doesn't have that, which is good. And it comes with Windows 11, obviously. I can't vouch for the screen. I wouldn't think it would be that great, to be honest. It says it's full HD and it has AMD Radeon graphics, yeah, built into the CPU. But if you were looking for something on the cheap, that's great. That's really good. I'd recommend that. I'm pretty sure I've set up a few of these as well. And that's the most recent CPU as well, the 5000 series CPU. So even though it's a budget model, it will be hitting the mid-range mark for Intel, the other company that produces CPUs. I don't think I'd really need to look for anything else. I think those would be my go-tos. Harvey Norman, I don't know. What have they? I mean, sorry, JB Hi-Fi. What do they have? Don't touch Dell. Not with a 10-meter cattle prod. Nope. I don't like anything in there. So definitely the Acer. So if we go back to computers, we'll see what laptops they have. It's called notebooks. They're called notebooks, all right? Stop calling them laptops. Jeez. Okay. So as I say, around the $1,000 mark is where to look. If you get something under that, like that Lenovo that's got $300 off, brilliant. Go for it. I don't know. Maybe there's a 14-inch notebook that someone would like, which means you don't get the keyboard on the right-hand side, the numpad, I should say. The Acer. The Acer is still my top pick. Don't get Chromebooks. Chromebooks are crap. They are so crap. Don't get Chromebooks. If you're going to get a Chromebook, get a tablet. Honestly, why would you buy a laptop with the Chrome OS on it? Ugh, it's just terrible. If you buy a laptop, you buy a laptop. You get Windows on it or you get the Mac OS. You don't get a Chromebook. If any schools are recommending you get a Chromebook, tell them to get stuffed. Tell them I said so. Chromebooks, yuck. Don't go near them. Don't go near Dell either. Yeah, that's it. That's it for me. If you want a desktop, this one's brilliant. If you want a notebook, That Acer is brilliant. Well, there's another one there as well. Look, that's quite nice too. That's all right. 698, but why would you choose that when you could potentially just get the Lenovo for 400, 500? Anyway, $1,000 mark is definitely this Acer. The CPU may be a little bit older, but it's still brilliant with 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte. Wow. That's awesome. So there we go. That's some computers to look at if you are in the buying mood. Otherwise, obviously, end of financial year sales come up when they just try and get shot of everything that didn't sell, which is probably what's happening with that Acer. But just, it's a great deal. Go for it. It doesn't matter if it's a year old or even 2 years old. The warranty is basically from the date of purchase. So if anything goes wrong with it during that time, 3 to 5 years warranty, by the way, not 1 year. Don't believe anything retailers say about the warranty. It's complete garbage, and it's usually they're just trying to get out of having to fix it. But under the Australian consumer law, for a standard laptop, you get 3 to 5 years warranty. For a expensive laptop, so anything over, I think it's $1,500 to $2,000 more, it's 8 to 10 years. So if you're buying a gaming notebook for $2,500, you got a 10-year warranty on it, potentially, through the Australian consumer law. I mean, obviously, I can understand why retailers might say, no, it's just a 1-year warranty, you're going to have to go to the manufacturer afterwards. It's basically because they're going to lose money if they can't send it back. But if they follow procedure, they will get their money back, or they'll get a replacement machine. It's just they're too lazy. They just don't want to do it. But the problem is a lot of people don't want to actually go through the Australian consumer law either. They don't want to actually talk to them and say, my laptop's not working. The retailer said I can't do anything about it. And the Australian consumer law will say, well, that's illegal, so maybe you should go back to them and tell them to do it. But anyway, if anyone needs any help with that, just let me know. Lastly, fibre to the premises is now available on the island. Please, please, please upgrade. I think it's the best thing we can do. I know the plans are obscenely overpriced, but the more people that sign up for fibre to the premises, hopefully the prices will go down, or at least the data that we get will go up. So the speeds at the moment are a bit of a joke. But the more people that jump onto that infrastructure, the faster the speeds will get. So hopefully we get down to something like, maybe it'll be $100 a month. I'd rather see it down to about $80 a month than we're getting 500 megabits or even a gigabit speed at that price with unlimited downloads. You shouldn't be paying for downloads at all. There shouldn't be any cap on that whatsoever. You should have unlimited all the time. No contracts. If anyone tries to get you on a contract for your internet, that is illegal. Under the Telecommunications Ombudsman will tell you that. They cannot do that. So you can basically quit anytime you want and go to somewhere else. Yeah, you don't need your own modem anymore. You just need a router on the inside of your house. So you can use your old modem sometimes as a router, but not all the time. I usually suggest buying the one that the provider offers. So if you're going with Aussie Broadband, they have their own modem that they would recommend. Unfortunately, it's from Netcom, which I think are a bit of a crap modem company, but seems to work. I've had plenty of customers that have had them, and I've installed them, and they seem to run fine. So yeah, but at least if anything goes wrong, you can actually get them to help you with it, unless you want to call me, obviously. If you need help setting up a new computer and transferring your data across to that computer, I charge a flat rate fee, which includes bringing it back to your house and getting it on the network, installing your printer, and giving you an orientation of Windows 11, which it will be, or the Apple OS, obviously. I charge $250 for that now. I was charging $200 for quite a long time, and I would probably spend 3 to 4 hours, including the visit back to someone's house. So maybe 5 in a way. It was not economically viable for me to be charging that price. So now I charge $250. Avast is a fee on top of that, and I can't change that because that's a cost. That's how much I get it for, pretty much. There's conversion rates involved and stuff like that as well. So that's $80. If I could make it a flat rate fee of 300, I would, but I can't. I just can't justify it. I've been undercutting myself for quite a number of years, and yeah, I can't do it anymore. I've got to charge a bit more of what I'm worth. It's just still under. If I was charging my hourly rate, you'd be getting $300-400 for this. That would be how much it would cost, which is just crazy. You know, even I can't justify those sorts of prices. So $250, that's it. Includes the visit to your house to set it back up again. Yep. Anything else? Just get in touch. It's Ben from Island Computers. Bye for now.